Time now for the Strawberry Letter for today. If you need advice on relationships, dating, work, sex, parenting, and more, please submit your Strawberry Letter to steveharveyfm.com and click Submit Strawberry Letter. We could be reading your letter live on the air, just like we're going to read this one right here, right now. So
buckle up. Hold on tight. We got it for you. Here it is. Strawberry Letter.
Did you hear me talking?
Oh, I heard the fact that I get to do my intro is you here. Because when he not here, when you not here, he don't want me saying nothing. He don't like me. Shirley.
You mean don't want you saying nothing like now when she could be reading the letter?
You don't like me
but he loves you.
We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it.
All right, subject, we have a big problem, sis. Dear Steve and Shirley, I've been divorced for 4 years and my 7-year-old child is caught up in a dysfunctional mess with me and my ex-husband. After my divorce, I found out that my older sister was having an affair with my husband. Throughout the divorce, she was my rock and I turned to her for advice since she'd been divorced 3 times. All of the signs were there that they could have been messing around, but I was going through hell, so I didn't notice. My sister had started calling me at work a lot, and I thought it was to check on me, but I found out later that she was making sure I was at work so she could be alone with my husband in our bed. When it all came out, I felt so stupid. It seemed as if my husband was relieved to give me the details. Well, fast forward to present day, my sister lives with my ex-husband and they are planning to get married. This has torn up my entire family. My son knows that his mommy and his auntie don't get along, but he does not know why. He constantly asks me why his auntie lives with his daddy instead of me and him living with his daddy. All I told him is that his auntie hurt his mommy really bad. I have never said anything negative about his daddy to him. He's too young to understand. I have told my ex that our son does not need to stay with him right now because it's confusing to him. My ex is so very nasty toward me and still has no remorse for what he's done. So he insists that he gets weekend visitation. For 4 years, I've been bitter and angry and want to hurt both of them. Someone mentioned counseling to me, but I need a little more than that. I need peace in my life and in my son's life. How can we move on from this and be happy? Wow. You're a really good person to not have, done something physical and violent to both of them. I must tell you, some sort, even if it's at a low level, some sort. I mean, I really have to commend you for that. I'm a woman that has 2 brothers. I always wanted sisters because I always, just wanted that closeness. She could be my BFF. We could bond, all of that. But clearly this is not the case, in your situation with you and your sister. I mean, she's ratchet and trifling. She really is. I mean, calling your job to see if you were at work so she could be with your husband in your bed. Now she's living with him. You divorced because he was cheating. This is just awful. I mean, and I can imagine how this has torn your family apart. And he doesn't seem to care, your ex-husband, what effect this has on your 7-year-old son. That's really where your focus should be. How is he going to come out of all of this? So to you, I got to tell you, you got to be strong right now for the both of you because this kid is confused. Okay, so daddy's not living with us, mommy, but he is still in the family because he's living with auntie now. Can you imagine how confusing that is for a child? And then your ex-husband wants visitation on the weekend, so he's going to be over there still with his daddy, your sister, who now might be his stepmom/auntie. I mean, the confusion and craziness of it, of all of this. But, he's going to find out. She's been divorced 3 times. He's going to find out why in just a few short minutes. He will be, I'm sure, ex-husband number 4 when this is all over with because she is trifling. She is ratchet, your older sister. I mean, of all the men in the world, she goes after your man, your husband. I mean, and right in your face. But how do you get through it? this is a tough one right here. I'm going to have to tell you, if you can, yes, I want you to go to some counseling for sure, for you and your son. And this is hard. You're going to have to try to find it in your heart to forgive them in this situation, because that's one of the cleanest ways you can move on with your life. I mean, that's hard. If you can, I didn't say forget, but you're going to have to try and forgive them if you can. That's what I have for you. Steve?
All right. Before I read through this letter, I want to make this statement right here, that nothing I'm about to say is what I really want to say. Nothing. Really?
You want to cuss, don't you?
Well, it's not so much to cuss, but
you do, though.
What I want to do to the both of them, I can't say on the radio or recommend. So let me take this approach to this. This woman's been divorced and she's got a 7-year-old. They're caught up in this dysfunctional mess. Her ex-husband, after your divorce, after the divorce now, this is after divorce, you find out that my older sister was having an affair with my husband. Okay, so now you found this out after divorce. This is your saving grace in this whole thing, that you found out after you got the divorce. God spared you knowing this during for a particular reason. And you turned to her for advice because she'd been divorced 3 times, and she did something to make you think she was okay. When I come back, I'm going to tell you the grace in all of this that you have. There is an upside to this.
Okay, Steve, hang on. We'll have part 2 of your response coming up at 23 minutes after the hour, right after this. You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show. Around the holidays, it's hard to find the right gifts. But you know what's even harder? Getting the right gift. But get this, Verizon's got the perfect solve for both. They have incredible gift bundles. You get the latest phone with a new line on my plan and a brand new smartwatch and tablet. No trade-in needed. You can give a couple away and get yourself one too. Or you can keep them all to yourself. No one has to know. Stop by your local Verizon. All right, Steve, come on. Let's recap today's Strawberry Letter. We have a problem, sis.
This woman, been divorced 4 years, got a 7-year-old child who's in this dysfunctional mess. Her ex-husband, she found out after the divorce, found out that her older sister was having an affair with the husband that you got the divorce from. Now, there's a reason why you didn't know this during, because that would have been gut-wrenching. I'm pretty sure it is now, but at least you got the divorce. Now, during the divorce, she was your rock, and you turned to her for advice, because she'd been divorced 3 times. I don't know what advice you get from somebody that's been divorced 3 times, except, especially when you're going through a divorce, except just how to get through divorcing. That's the best advice, especially when you find out that all the signs that were there, that they had been messing around. But you didn't notice. Your sister was calling you at work. You thought it was to check on you, but you found out she was making sure you was at work so she could be alone with my husband in our bed. Okay, now that's trifling. Let me tell you what's wrong here. You have discovered after the marriage that 2 of the most despicable, trifling people were in your life. You had a bad husband, you got a bad sister, and it's led to a bad situation. These 2 people right here are the worst of the worst. The blessing is you got a chance to get away from one of them. Now, the problem with siblings is you don't get to pick them. You're born with them. Because you're sisters don't mean you have to be friends. You and your sister are not friends. Now, Shirley said a good thing. Shirley said you have to forgive. I don't know how you forgive this right here, but you do have to move on from it. Now, when it all came out, you say you felt stupid. And then it seemed as if my husband was relieved to give you the details. Well, number one, he had been living a lie. So giving you the details also was to make you feel a couple of things. Number one, like something was your fault. And number two, it was your sister's fault. See, dudes that open up about stuff like this is to say to him, some of this, if I hadn't have been around in this situation with you and your family, half of it's your fault and the rest of it's your sister's fault. Now, fast forward to present day, your sister live with your ex-husband and they planning on getting married. How you think that's going to work? As Shirley pointed out, she been divorced 3 times and she done slept with her sister's husband. What type of blessing you think finna be on this mess right here? Thank God you out of it. See, oftentimes when God pulls us through stuff, we mess up by dabbling back into stuff. Well, now your son is another problem. He knows that his mommy and his auntie don't get along. Well, that's cool. You can explain that. Quit taking him over there. He constantly asks me why his auntie live with his daddy though. That's a little bit of trouble. And if he's 7, he going to school, somebody else gonna ask too. He wants to know instead of why you and him don't live with your daddy. I told him that his auntie hurt his mommy really bad. I've never said anything negative about his daddy to him. He's too young to understand. I've told my ex that our son does not need to stay with him right now because it's confusing to him, which is a true statement. But now he has no relationship with his father, which is probably worse. So I don't know that since this is causing some confusion in him as to why his daddy is staying with his auntie and not staying with him and his mama, that confusion is going to exist whether he sees his dad or not. But him not seeing his father, he needs that. He may not be a good husband. He could be a good father, though. My ex is so very nasty towards me and still has no remorse for what he's done. Well, he's nasty towards you because that's a defense mechanism. He got to be nasty towards you because you have every right to be nasty towards him. But kindness kills, baby. Oh, if you were to just be kind to him and his ex-wife, him and your sister, it would kill him. Now, it's going to take a lot for you, and I'm not sure you're the person that has that, because for years I've been bitter and angry, and I want to hurt both of them. See, somebody told you that you should go to counseling, and you really should, because you need to talk over this with somebody to discuss your feelings. But I need a little more than that. Well, the only thing more than that is God. See, and the one thing I'm going to tell you something old people say, sometimes you got to let go and let God. You got to take this situation that you're going through that's bigger than anything any of us have for you, and you got to turn it over to God. I ain't joking, man. You really got to turn this one over to God because you need peace in your life. And I know no better way to get peace in your life through a relationship with God. I don't know a better way. It's my peace in my life and in your son's life. How can we move on from this and be happy? You move on to it because he got you out of it. Stop dabbling in it. You got to play the game now.
That's
okay,
right,
this
Steve.
your daddy, boom. And separate yourself. You got to get to that point or you're going to lose your mind. You need counseling and you need prayer.
Post your comments on today's Strawberry Letter at Steve Harvey FM on Instagram and Facebook, and check out the Strawberry Letter podcast on demand.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.